Hi everyone, it's Lucy and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about a topic called Sabbath and specifically some tips on how to do the Sabbath well. And just a caveat, like these are not things you have to do in order to be practicing Sabbath right. These are just some ideas that I'm sharing to kind of help you get an understanding of some ideas to do for Sabbath. You know, every person is very different on how they do Sabbath, and so there's really no right way, but these are just some tips that I want to share with you. So first off, let me explain what Sabbath actually is. According to the Bible, God commanded His people to rest on the seventh day, just like He did when He created the world. He took 6 days to create the world, and on the seventh day He rested. And the concept is really to appreciate and remember what God did for us by creating us, by creating the earth that we live on, and just remembering that He is holy and He is divine and able to do all these things. So that's kind of the concept. There's also the portion that when Jesus came and Jesus arrived in the New Testament, He really abolished the Old Testament's command. Within that, He has said that the Lord is the Sabbath, saying that instead now, if you don't rest on the seventh day, you're a sinner. It's kind of saying instead, Sabbath is all about remembering Jesus and what Jesus did for us and who Jesus is. So when we talk about Sabbath, we're not exclusively tailoring it to just Sundays. You must rest on Sunday. In fact, Sabbath actually can be any day of the week, but it's a time set aside for you to really rest and remember what God did, who Jesus is, and really appreciate who God is. And so that's the way we're created, and that's why Sabbath is super important. So let's get into some things to do during Sabbath that are practical, and I'm a very practical person, so I enjoy tips. So I wanted to share some with you guys. So tip number 1 is go on a walk or go on a hike. Going on a walk or going out in nature, a hike, however long your duration of your walk/hike is a really good way to Sabbath, because not only are you resting and not doing your, responsibilities and the things you have to do, you're taking time aside to go out in nature and really appreciate God's creation in nature. And I think when you do that, you get to see the trees, feel the fresh air, see animals, and just beauty that's around. And you remember that God created all these things. So going on a walk/hike is a really great idea. Number 2 is read a Christian book. I say Christian because it's really helpful to read a book about Jesus or about, living out the Christian life. I think that when you're reading exclusively on the topic of Christianity and Jesus, you're really gaining an understanding of who God is, what He did, and how to apply it in your life. And not only is that a restful thing to do, it also helps renew our minds and help us to remember who God is. And so I like to just cozy up on the couch and read a book and really remember who Jesus is, who God is, and try to apply that into the rest of my week as I get recharged there. Tip number 3 is hang out with your community. These are your brothers and sisters in Christ. Reach out to people at your church. So if you go to church on Sunday, it's a great opportunity to grab a meal with them after. So whether it's lunch or dinner, set a time aside to just fellowship with your brothers and sisters. It's a great way to hear about what's going on in other people's lives, how you can pray for them, but also just really encourage each other and grow in fellowship, be together, because Sabbath is a thing we should practice in community and not just on your own. So I encourage you to do that. Number 4, draw or paint. I really like to draw or paint different things, and when I do that, I feel very creative in my process. And I feel like that's very important to rest well, because we remember that we are image bearers of God and that we also were created to create. So when I draw or paint, I really am able to express my creativity and draw whatever thing I am, but it really just showcased that we have this ability to create different products just like our maker did. And so I think it's a really fun activity to do if you enjoy it. Which brings me into my other tip is, play music or worship. So whether you play an instrument or not, I think putting on some music or playing music and worshiping God is also a really great activity to do, because you are, remembering who God is in song, and also that making music or playing music has that creative aspect to it that really reminds us of who our Father is and who created us, and that we are very much like God in terms of some of the ways that His attributes are in us. So tip number 6 is reserve dinner for your family. And I know in this really busy world we're constantly going and we forget to stop and have meals together with your own family. Really setting time aside on your Sabbath day to have a meal with your family is a really restful thing to remember the community that God has given you, the blessing of family, and just to really love on your family by, putting your phones away, putting all distractions away. Don't turn the TV on and eat your meal, but really intentionally spending time with your family, because it is a blessing that God has given us and we should really continue to invest in them. Family is a relationship that God has given you that's very closely bonded, and so in a way you want to really invest in your family members because you really want to encourage them in their walks with Christ, or if they don't know Christ, to really share about that. And so I feel like that is a great time set aside. So these are some of my practical tips for what to do on your Sabbath day. And like I said, Sabbath is not just making yourself stop on a day and watch TV and do nothing and just be lazy. Like, that is not the simple Sabbath. Sabbath is about remembering God and setting it aside to be a holy day where you really remember who Christ is. And Sabbath actually takes a lot of preparation. You can't just expect it to be there and you'll have things to do, but it's important to think about things you can do and plan to do so that you can really rest well and remember God and who God is. So I hope my tips are helpful, practical starting points for you as you plan out your Sabbath day. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to be making more content about topics like this where I think it's really helpful to share tips on, and so I'll be making more videos coming up. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!